Well, hello. It's the Aussie Ideas man with another video that I'm practicing. I just hope that I can improve a little bit, but not too worried about learning much on the editing side this time because I just want to get this one out. Steve from Aptera Owners Club has put out a couple of videos promoting the Gamma, and I've got an idea that I should give some balanced viewpoint on how good this Gamma is so far from a skeptic's point of view. Or for all you silly fanboys out there, from a troll's point of view, which I just laugh at. Well, it's going to be difficult. I've got a couple of videos to start with, and I really don't know how I'm going to put them together, but this one here is, as I hope you can see on the screen, Aptera update of November 2021 by Aptera Motors, if you can see right in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Hopefully I should be over here in the right side where there's usually rubbish. In any case, I'll start by playing it and see if I can make comments as I go. That's not play. That is.
Hey Aptera fans, it's a big day. We put a pin in the alpha developments and here's the proof. 3 beautiful Aptera vehicles on this super sunny San Diego day. Now we're on to our beta phase of development. We've had some amazing progress with our body tooling being completed and our first parts being built, our front suspension frames being completed, and we're working hard on our solar panel development. Our beta development efforts will consist of between 6 and 12 vehicles. Our beta development efforts will consist of between 6 and 12 vehicles. Our beta development efforts will consist of between 6 and 12 vehicles.
I just thought I'd repeat those just for you people to realise that there's the promise. 6 to 12 vehicles.
Testing everything from braking performance to calibrating the HVAC for thermal performance to a lot of different safety testing that we'll be doing to make sure we have the safest vehicle possible for us.
A lot of safety testing, wow, to make sure you got the safest vehicle possible. So, what's happened since November 21 when he made all these wild promises? They've made one beta and they tested suspension, and what do you know, they even added testing the braking on it. Now, of those tests out at Chuckwalla testing ground, they never gave any results. And frankly, if Roush is doing suspension, they could do most of it without the silly trike.
Our beta development vehicles won't be pretty. They're for functional testing and safety testing.
Functional testing and safety testing. Notice he didn't say though for rides around the block. But they registered it just so that they could give people rides around the block, because those 3 beautiful alphas behind there couldn't do it.
We'll be doing all kinds of things with vendors all around the world, and you will see a lot of them over the next coming months, but you won't see the pretty side of them like these 3 beautiful vehicles.
A lot of them. You've seen the beta, and most of the time you've seen it giving joyrides around the block.
Here. And we can't wait to take our beta development efforts up to our new beautiful building up in Carlsbad, California.
Okay, November 2021, and they can't wait to take the beta development up there. And yet, what is it? August. It's 9 months later, August 2022, and they have an empty Carlsbad factory, if you can call it that. They haven't done any betas in there. They haven't done beta development up there. I don't even think they made the Gamma up there. It's an empty building.
There'll be a lot happening, and we'll share it with you along the way.
A lot happening. It's empty. There's not even, after all that millions of dollars that they've spent on supplies, they haven't even stockpiled it with supplies. They've spent the money and got nothing. It's very suspicious.
While we're here, a couple of technical points that I wanted to go over with you. First is we've completed our body and white tooling for the betas, and parts are being built right now.
So they were building parts since November 2021 for betas. They've tooled up and everything. Where are all these parts? Have they gone to the scrap metal yard or the scrap fiberglass yard that they claim is space age material? They have wasted money.
The second is the impressive work that our suspension team has done on the Beta vehicles. We have much improved aerodynamics with much slimmer upper and lower control arms, and our wires are hidden away very nicely to increase our aerodynamic performance.
Steve from Aptera Owners Club has noticed that in the Gamma there are absolutely no wires going to the wheels.
And our rear suspension has changed over from a single-sided swing arm to a double link suspension in the rear, which gives us much improved performance.
By the sound of the fact that they've got much improved performance with these changes, you would think they already don't need to test the suspension at Chuckwalla, which they do later.
And lastly, our solar team has made tremendous progress. We've been designing solar panels to last at least 10 years on your vehicle, and these panels have already gone through hail impact testing and great durability testing to make sure we build you the best solar product possible.
If that's not snake oil, I don't know what is. The 3 vehicles you can see behind him don't have solar cells like he's showing. They have just plastic squares on them. There is no solar in those vehicles, according to Steve from Aptera Owners Club, who has inspected them. He said that they're just there to look like the solar. They're fakes. The vehicles themselves don't have any of the batteries they propose to sell, and the batteries in them are so tiny that I don't think they could make 10 miles without going flat. And they don't meet the performance claims that they say they can do. And this is why when they run them down a drag strip, they turn the timing lights off.
We've been making amazing progress in all our areas of development and growing our team quickly. And tidy for the first construction of betas.
This is another video, Aptera Update December 2021. They make these updates and you can see they're only like 2 minutes long, and they don't often get the update out in each month. They miss them. Once again, you can see Aptera Motors in the bottom corner.
We're putting together the suspension assemblies and a lot of electrical components to get...
Still putting together the suspension assemblies a month later.
Ready for our first drives by the end of the year. These first beta vehicles will have several different purposes. The first one will be just for suspension and drivetrain testing. Then we'll have an interior buck, and then we'll have ones for safety and HVAC and the other testing needs that we have as we push towards production.
Good shot to finish on. Push towards production. 9 months later, what have we? Well, we'll soon see.
Now that we've shown you what the beta version looks like from an exterior perspective, Jason's going to talk about some of the interior attributes.
Great.
The second clip that I've pulled from YouTube to make mine is this Aptera live webinar. I shouldn't say the second, it's the third, isn't it? We've had 2 updates, November and December. Well, the third one is the Aptera live webinar. It's a bit long, but I'm going to make some comments as I go through it. June 2022. So we're talking a good 6 months later. This is the promise. Now remember, they promised 6 to 12 betas before the Gamma. Now this is the promise of the Gamma.
Yes, yes, both. Thank you, Chris. Great to be here, everyone. I do want to just begin by saying that we are in a privileged position, and it's an honor to work on such a noble mission for what we're doing. It's as a designer and working with engineers, working with competent people all around the world now, we have such an amazing product that we're bringing forth. So
that's the usual palavering that Americans do. Out of the way.
With that, I'd love to show you essentially what Gamma Interior is about. We'll talk a little bit about Gamma Exterior, and we're leading up to a physical product in about a month's time, as you know.
Physical product.
And we're going to go from our wonderful renderings and design process into reality. So,
reality. Well, let's see how real it becomes.
With that, let's see the video.
This isn't reality, this is rendering.
Okay. Oh, great. Okay, thank you.
Right.
Okay, so Jason, I think we're going to go through the interior,
sure.
The center of your world when you're in Aptera, and could you walk us through what that experience is going to be like for drivers?
Correct, right? So the whole starting point for Aptera, beyond our inclusive of our aerodynamic product, is our user space, which is basically the cabin of the vehicle. And we've endeavored to give the best experience, a unique experience that is commensurate with the unique outside, the interior has to be executed in a similar way. So we went in and we looked at what are the essential needs: comfort, safety, material experience, fit, finish, feel. And these all came together in what you're seeing now. And again, we're going to have a physical representation of this within about 4 short weeks.
I might have repeated this. I'm pretty sure I have, but I'll stress within 4 short weeks. About.
In what you're seeing now. And again, we're going to have a physical representation of this within about 4 short weeks.
Repeated for all the lame brains out
again,
there.
We're going to have a physical representation of this within about 4 short weeks. We've added our vision system, our side vision system, which is in conjunction with our side rear view mirrors. We expect that all of you will enjoy stepping into a vehicle and having the sun power you to your next destination or bring you back home from wherever you've been. Having the sun power you to your next destination or bring you back home.
Repeated for the lame brains.
Having the sun power you to your next destination or bring you back home from wherever you've been.
No Aptera has had the sun power them at all. None of those 3 alphas, and not even the beta, has had it. Now he's saying they're going to have reality, and they've added vision systems. When you actually see Steve from AOC comment on the Gamma, they've removed vision systems and they've removed all the solar. That is, they build it without the stuff. That's their reality.
I'd like to focus a little bit on materials. I know we're going to get a lot of questions. There's modules that make up what we call the center console, and those modules are going to be variable. You'll be able to choose different types. We're producing our first modules for the show vehicle, Gamma show vehicle, out of a wonderful material, which is essentially pineapple leather. And it's the first of many materials that we're using that are either friendly, carbon neutral, such as our cork in our center console cup holder. We got automotive grade for safety reasons on the rest of our materials, but we're chasing always the best color, material, and finish options. We're working with some of the most innovative companies and forward-thinking companies, and we really are excited about the ambience and the feel of our interior. Makes me happy. That is the mission, to make everyone happy with their experience. Yeah, another little view here. Again, this is our Gamma level exterior that we're producing for next month. This is our Gamma level exterior that we're producing for next month.
Repeat it again for the lame brains.
Gamma
next
level
month,
exterior that we're producing
last
for next
June.
month. You can see we've added. It's a little bit evolved, I would say, from Alpha. Alpha was our starting point. We went through a beta phase. Now this is the Gamma reveal, and we are deep into Delta, which is, of course, our production intent. I expect that we're going to maintain our color options for the interior, which is.
Nobody has seen hide nor hair of any Delta at the moment.
Currently Codex, Coast, and Vita. And again, we're working with so many innovative companies and to provide the best materials and the best experience inside.
Jason,
go ahead.
I've seen this in VR. It's amazing.
Yes.
Is there a plan to share that VR experience with?
Yeah.
This is a great question, Steve. Yes. We have successfully developed the data level. Now, this is a different program than VR, obviously, but we're able now to experience the vehicle in virtual reality, and it brings a whole other level. I think it was really important that we got that to you. I think it was last week I sent you the file, sent you the instructions, and the next morning the email return from Steve was wow. And we expect that everybody gets a wow out of Aptera. It's so nice to be in public like Electrify Expo, and people just are like wow. So the virtual part of the factory, the virtual part of the vehicle, I think we'll be able to share with our customers and our future and potential customers that VR experience beyond the physical product. But nothing beats the physical product, which we have coming.
Oh, I repeated this one.
Nothing beats the physical product, which we have coming. But nothing beats the physical product, which we have coming.
For the lame brains.
Really great way to experience and make good, solid decisions as we evolve this design and lock everything down for production.
Yeah. Exciting. And the exterior.
Yeah, so again, the exterior's evolved. We've developed our lighting systems, have come a long way. We've got something in the works to share with everybody about the headlamp and our signature lamp. We actually have a demo version of it, and we'll be able to share that fairly soon. Chris, again, talked about the air shaper, and we've iteratively improved our aerodynamics. We look forward to the final drag product as we go through our what we normally call the body in white. But we're gonna have a little bit of a change in that, and a little bit of a surprise. In about a month's time, we're gonna talk about what this vehicle means and how we put it together and what that's done. But what you're seeing right now is that's exactly what we're building. What you see is what you get for next month, and we'll have a really good chance for everybody to say, oh, I see that.
That's exactly what they're building. Okay. Well, Steve from AOC says, hey, half the vision system's missing, seat belts are missing, that solar is missing, and it is. Not a bit of solar on it anywhere. And he's saying this is exactly what we're building. And he says he's only 4 weeks away from having it completed. And he can't be any more wrong. It's the Gamma is a piece of rubbish.
Way better than Alpha. We're in a unique position as far as our original prototypes. You know, we did great endeavors, but our product will be better than our show vehicle.
The Gamma is supposed to be way better than Alpha, but I don't even think it has battery or motors. Certainly the Gamma that people are sitting in when we get to it doesn't have those orange cables to go to any motors. So I'm guessing Alefi hasn't been able to supply them, and they're building a static display. In fact, in the comments, somebody asks if they could test drive at the Fully Charged Live show, and Aptera Motors replies and says, no, it will be just a static display only. That's coming forward from the alphas, you reckon? At least they could go a couple of miles.
I do want to point out maybe to the eagle-eyed observer that there seems to be an extra 4 solar cells on the hood. It seems like Anuj had a little fight and Anuj won.
Anuj is a worthy opponent. He is wonderful. Anuj and I, actually this is the privilege of design when you're working with engineering. You have a chance to battle towards 2 places to win, or 2 ways to win. And we've added more solar cells on both the hood for the eagle-eyed viewer, as Chris pointed out, and also on
Don't give away the secret. It's coming. Right.
That secret was they took them all away. And 4 weeks before he predicted it would be revealed, he's saying they've added them. So what have they done? Added them and then scraped them off with a scraper?
Also in other areas on the vehicle, but we're improving our ability to add the solar, which will then just help us overall.
Very cool to see it all. It's just beautiful. Yeah, that's all I can say.
By now you should know that these guys are snake oil salesmen. They make promises and don't deliver. In fact, I started in November 21. By November 21, they had made so many promises that they hadn't kept that nobody should trust them. And yet you'll see that Steve from Aptera Owners Club is still making videos saying they were wrong with their predictions. This is the club members, that none of them own an Aptera, but they were wrong with their predictions, so they'll just make some more predictions and they'll keep doing it until finally they're right. But disbelieving these 3 snake oil salesmen is just not an option for them.
We get that a lot. I want more, Chris.
Yeah. Lots of exciting stuff to come, as you can see from the team at
I just thought I'd show this bit. It's not relevant to the rest, but I just love the way she's a bobblehead. Watch it bobble.
Aptera over the coming months. We're getting closer and closer to our goal of reaching production, and we look forward to bringing you all along with us as we go on our journey.
Okay, this is... don't mind my naming my files, sucks too. This is the last piece of video I've extracted from YouTube to make my video. This is Steve from Aptera Owners Club. You might be surprised at that since there's no owners yet. But Steve's a bit of a strange cretin, and he at the end asks for people's ideas of when this thing will come about, and I type never, but you won't see that because he blocks me and lots of other people that are too negative. So you watch him, you don't get a balanced idea of anything.
Hello everyone, Steve with Aptera Owners Club. Okay, so it happened. They released a video about Gamma's interior, and I found it pretty humorous because if you remember, last week on Friday, August 5th, around 1 p.m., they released these pictures of people sitting in the Gamma, and they said, we look forward to sharing the inside story on Gamma next week. Have a great weekend, everyone. So we're all waiting this whole week, and 7 days, and almost to the minute, they released this video. So I see how they're rolling it. They're waiting exactly a week, and they say true to their word. In exactly a week, they released this video.
True to their word. They've been trying to make this silly trike since 2006, and they predict this Gamma is going to be a real vehicle. We've just seen that. They predict it in early June that it will be inside about 4 weeks. So August 5th, they come out with some photos of some actors sitting in the thing, not even completed. and they bring this out 1 week later, and all of a sudden they're true to their word. They haven't been true to their word a dozen times, and yet Steve is impressed. Steve is a thickhead.
And the inside story on Gamma next week, I kind of assumed that meant inside story as in like background story. What they mean is the interior of it. So, well played, Aptera, well played.
Yes, Aptera is very good at saying things that don't mean anything. That's what a snake oil salesman is good at.
All right, so anyway, I've watched this video probably 10 times. It's 2 minutes and 1 second long, so it's not a long video. And my initial impression of it is the thing is beautiful. I mean, we've seen the renders of it, and it looks basically like the renders, but there's just something about having a real vehicle that's a physical thing and not a render. And it becomes pretty obvious that they're still working on it. It's not a completed vehicle. That
means it's not real yet.
We'll go over it. I want to go over it frame by frame with you guys. If you're interested, join in. This probably end up being a pretty long video. I'm going to ramble a lot probably.
Always does.
So hang in there. Okay, so first shot. This is obviously a kind of nighttime shot of the Gamma vehicle in their new assembly facility.
Pretty strange because here in Australia, blue sky means daytime.
And you can see that this is the completed wheel pants. It has the inner lining and it looks very much like the render. What I don't see is I don't clearly see the power cables.
You don't see the hub motors either. They're probably not there.
And then you'll see a better shot of the hinge design. The hinge design is totally different than the Alpha.
Yeah, it has a strut. And yet, what's his name? I don't know. Mr. Hill. He's saying you're going to get exactly what you see in this render. And there was no strut in the render. There's a change.
I didn't see a single solar cell on this entire vehicle. So I don't know if they don't plan on putting solar cells on this vehicle or if it's like a modular thing that can be glued on the body. And that's how it's replaceable. You can just kind of peel the whole thing off and put a whole new module on. So I don't know if it's easy to put it on afterward. And it's just like a thin film laminate that has the solar cells in there that you can just glue on there after the fact. Or they're just not planning on installing it on this vehicle. Not sure.
Steve is the master of guessing. Every video he makes, he's guessing what's going to happen next.
Okay, so here's the new hinge design. It hinges here, and in the Gamma renders, the rear view camera is installed right here, and you don't see a rear view camera here, so it's not installed. And then the rear view mirrors are installed on the door itself, and this is the gas strut that we saw in the pictures, the teaser pictures. There's the charge port. Okay, so it looks like there's a light here. I don't know why they made the light so big and bulbous. Maybe just to get the right angle on the thing, but I think this is a light. It lights both the license plate and the charge port. And then I think it was pretty clear they were going to go with the Tesla charge port at this point, and I think this basically confirms it. This is not big enough for a CCS1 port. It's just not. It's about the same size as a Tesla port and maybe a J1772. But if you're going to have DC fast charging, J1772 does not have DC fast charging. They're going to have DC fast charging on this. It's going to be the Tesla port. That's like a near certainty at this point. Also, the Alpha vehicles and the renders had a camera, a rear view camera here. You don't see it here. So I don't see a rear view camera here. So that has not been installed. Not sure. I'm guessing that this is just a cover. This little circle's a cover for like you snap it off and that's where the screws to keep it in place are. But this looks awesome. Love it.
So Gamma.
And then I don't know what this is right here. It looks like there's some kind of post and there is a little hole that something could stick into. So I'm not sure what that is. But something goes there.
The pedals.
Sure what. The other thing we mentioned here is look at the way that this middle screen looks. There is definitely a gap between the screen and this bezel around it. Yeah, it's not flush. There's like an air gap between there. Someone in Discord suggested perhaps this is the HVAC vent, and the vent comes in through here. That would be sort of a cool idea, I think. Yeah, that gets rid of having to put a vent here. In terms of air conditioning, it would also cool down the screen.
It's roomy in here. There's a lot of space.
In the Gamma renders, it looked like there were little doors to access storage underneath this back deck. It's not in here, so I don't know if it just didn't make it to this design iteration or they decided not to put it in there. But there's no door as in the design.
It's in the back too.
Tons of legroom.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a gap here, and it clearly tilts, reclines, and moves forward. And we know that that's one of the features. You can recline it all the way forward. Also, see, this is where you would expect the seatbelts to come out, but there's no seatbelts in this thing yet. I think the seatbelts bolt on right here. As you move forward, it brings the seat up so that you go higher in the seat so you can look over.
It doesn't look like it to me. When he pushes forward, I see his knees go up, which has to happen, but I don't see his torso go up. But Steve's a great guesser, and he sees things that aren't really there. And most of the time, he doesn't see things that are there.
Now, of course, these are all Aptera employees, I'm presuming, and they're gonna say good things about it.
Like, yeah, it's super comfortable.
This is usually the way you actually lean your seat when you're waiting in the supermarket for your wife. The seats are super comfortable.
There's a good comment about that. A man waits in the car for his wife to bring the groceries out from the supermarket. Going to pause on this one here because looking at the roof line, it looks like there's some sort of center lump, and it goes way back further than where the actual hatch is. In fact, it just looks strange, completely strange. It doesn't look like there's a high floor like when you see the back of any of these silly trikes. It looks like it's drawn to be a cavity, some sort of deep cavity. And yeah, just the distance that roof line goes back just seems wrong. And this is supposed to be the real thing, improving on the alphas.
Mountain bike grip.
Again, I do not see power cables on the lower control arms.
I can't see the 6 solar cells in the left and right corners either. Another example of no solar.
So they are going to be at fully charged 2022. And now I think with where this car is, you see that it's missing a lot of things. They're not done building it out. And someone asked about it. You can see they are going to put sun visors, they are going to put rearview mirrors and seatbelts and this thing. So they're not done building it.
They didn't say there that they've yet to put in the batteries and the motors. But when somebody says something's missing, they'll just say, oh yeah, we'll put those in, and not tell you all the other things that they need to put in.
And so I think they're going to barely be ready to show this thing in a month at fully charged. So I don't expect a fully realized Gamma vehicle until this fully charged show on September 10 and 11 at the earliest.
I'd like them to prove that the motors are still in the 3 alphas and the beta, because I've got a feeling they might have to strip one of them of the motors just to get a motor in this thing.
They may not be fully done at that point either. But just take a look. Yeah, so it's a little tight there. Yep. So everyone's kind of clipping their feet there. It is basically a sports car in its configuration.
If that's a sports car, 110 miles per hour top speed is completely inadequate. That's no sports car.
Oh, that looks great. I think it would look better if this was all the way across here. I think what's going to happen is we're going to get very, very slow releases of little bits of information, maybe on a weekly basis until the fully charged show, or maybe even less frequently than that.
He's still guessing all the time. What he should do is make sure that this Gamma actually works, that it is an improvement on the alphas. Make sure that it lives up to the hype that they've been saying and have never had a prototype that shows it can do what they claim. Get set for a huge disappointment.